Hello, how are you? My name is Phil Earle. I write stories for children and for teenagers. I've written about 24 books now, I think. And you might know this one, for example. You might know When the Sky Falls, or perhaps While the Storm Rages, or even my new book, which is a third book, I guess, in a kind of animal blitz collection, which is called Until the Road Ends. And I thought what might be rather fun today to tell you quickly about some of the real life things that happened in our history that meant I could write this story. Because one of the great things about writing is that we are surrounded by stories every day, and our history is packed with little incidents that we can take, give them a twist, and turn them into books like this. So I thought it might be rather fun just to show you some of the things that have happened in history that helped me write it. So let me just share my screen and then I can do exactly that. Let's go to the top. Let's introduce you to this guy. So, as I was researching, I'm a lover of dogs, by the way. I'm very lucky. I have two beautiful dogs. I'll introduce you to one of them here. Here's Lenny, sleeping peacefully after a walk. Doesn't happen often, so I'll take it. This dog in the photo, however, is Rip. And Rip was a mongrel, as you can see. He's a crossbreed, and he was a stray living in a bombed out building in London. However, he wasn't injured in a bomb. He survived. He was healthy. But because the government at the start of the Second World War were telling people to put down their pets because of this little booklet, it said, it's not going to be safe for your pets, put them to sleep. We killed nearly 750,000 pets in 1 month. Rip, however, was lucky. He was discovered by this gentleman that you can see in the bottom picture there, who was an air raid warden. And instead of putting the dog to sleep, he took him to work every day. And Beau discovered that his amazing sense of smell meant that he could sniff out people that had survived the previous night's bombs. And over the course of a year, while the Blitz was raging, Rip saved over 100 people from bombed out buildings. And as a result, he was awarded the Dickin Medal, which is the highest accolade any pet can be given. You can see him wearing it in that bottom picture. And he wore it proudly around his neck until he died at the end of the war. He was the bravest of dogs, and he was absolutely the inspiration for my intrepid, loyal friend here called Beau. So Rip became Beau, but I needed to give Beau a story. And I started looking around through the history books at things that I could write about. And I discovered the awful thing that happened in October of 1940, which was the Balham bomb. Now, I didn't know this at the time, but I used to live in Balham. I lived there for a couple of years. Balham is in southwest London. And that picture on the left is Balham High Street. And believe it or not, that huge crater is the after effects of a bomb that the German bombers dropped on Balham High Street. And the photo of the right was what happened underground, because that bomb went off over the top of Balham Underground Station, and the platform there filled up with rubble, bricks, and dust, and gas, and water. And tragically, they think around 60 or 70 people lost their lives. And I thought about this tragedy. I thought, oh, hang on, what if my dog Beau in the story lived in Balham? And what if he had a little girl called Peggy, who was evacuated at the start of the war, but the bomb killed the mum and dad? And in the end, the story has to be about how Beau and Mabel here, a very sarcastic cat, and Bomber, who is a carrier pigeon, who also thinks he's a soldier slash spy in waiting. What if they go on the most amazing journey across the British Isles looking for their little girl? So I knew that I had to get these three pets from Balham down to the south coast towards Bournemouth way. And so I thought, how can they travel there? Well, it's too far to walk all the way. Let's put them on a train. And I started to look at trains during the Second World War. And I learned about one very important and really quite surreal character. Let me introduce you to Coringa. Now, Coringa was a circus performer. She was known as a fakir, and a fakir is a kind of mystical person, someone who can mesmerize or hypnotize both humans and animals. And as you can see from the picture, Coringa had some rather exotic pets of her own, namely snakes and crocodiles. Coringa during World War II would travel on trains all the way around the country trying to perform for people in theatres to keep their spirits up. And she, as you can see from these photos, she was very, very fond of her crocodiles. She would travel with 6 of them, and the largest one was called Churchill, after Winston Churchill. And every night, she would go on stage, hypnotize Churchill, and put her head in its mouth, amongst other things. But the story I love most about Coringa is that during the day, the things that she used to do was to drum up ticket sales and interest in her show. She would walk around city centres with Churchill, a crocodile, on a lead, like a dog, to drum up interest in her show. And I just think that was brilliant. So there is a scene in the book, and I won't tell you anymore because I want you to read it, where our 3 heroes might just perish at the hands of a very hungry crocodile. So if you'd like to read that chapter, I suggest you read the book. So don't forget, look into our history. History is full of the most wonderful stories that you can take, give a twist, and work into your own books. Good luck searching, and happy reading. Cheers. Bye.